Welcome to the Learn Session we have at the beginning of every one of these hatecasts. This is your host, Bryce Allen, and today, again, I'm joined by Ryan Skellie. Now, we talk about diet in this one. I said that we wouldn't again, but we kind of wanted to wrap up diets that need to die, which is what we went over in the last episode, into something that has worked well for us, energy expenditure, explaining macros, and stuff like that, right? So that's what this episode's about. Now, the next episode that I have Ryan on will be probably training related, maybe a Q&A. I think it's been over time for one of those. So if you have any questions that you'd like Ryan or myself to answer, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. And if you think that we missed anything or we have glossed over anything and you would like something better explained in another episode, please also leave that in the comment section below so we can get to that and answer all of your questions. Well, guess what? I don't have anything to say at this point. But if you are interested in our products, you can go over to www.chaosandpain.com. Hopefully you're already subscribed to the newsletter so you know what sales are going on. And just enjoy the show. It's a pretty good one this time. They're all pretty good. I'm kind of biased. Enjoy the show. And we're live. Welcome to the newest hatecast. This is your host, Bryce Allen, and today I am joined yet again by Ryan Skellie. Now, I just set my timer, so we've got an hour to kill. Now, this episode will continue on the previous discussion we had on diets that need to die. Now, it's been some time since we actually recorded that podcast. Were there any other diets that you have either failed to mention or some new ones that you think need a nail in the coffin?
No, I mean, we mentioned that snake diet a little bit, and I haven't looked into that much, but I've been seeing it on Facebook and, everyone doing it, like the Whole30 type thing. That's pretty much just restarting eating like all new foods, and pretty much that literally is just like a whole food diet. So, it's just for people not to eat processed foods and stuff, which is good, but that's what your diet should be anyway, is whole foods. But, for the most part, the biggest one right now is that keto. Keto's been around for 30, 40 years, and now it's just back again. And that's like the marketing and the fad that's going through right now, even though it's been around forever. That's just, when you talk to people casually, people don't mention really like the Whole30 or the snake diet, vertical diet, but it's like everyone's talking about keto right now, so that's the biggest one to address, I think, and the one I've done most research on. I've heard of the vertical diet.
Let's talk a little bit about that. What is your opinions on the vertical diet? Because it just exploded in popularity, and my thoughts are, when it comes to the vertical diet, is Stan Efferding had some sort of digestive issues, and he needed to go like elimination diet style to kind of tackle some of his own personal health problems. Because he even goes over that in most of the talks that he's had. He said he had, I think it was IBS or some sort of dietary restriction issue, right? Yeah. And going to steak and rice and all these easily digestible foods, not a lot of gas. So I think he doesn't like raw spinach. He doesn't like asparagus, stuff that causes a lot of gas. And I truly do believe that's like a competitor just making the most out of his dietary choices for him specifically. What do you think on that?
Yeah, I think you need, I don't eat a lot of greens as much as I should, but I drink the guy every morning. So,
right.
That kind of helps, obviously. I will say, I know people who are vegetarians and they eat lots of greens and veggies, the broccoli, the asparagus, all that stuff. And I will say, when I'm around a lot, they're a lot more gassy than someone who doesn't. And I will say when I'm dieting down and I start adding in more of the green veggies, and just to kind of fill up my palate more so I'm not as hungry, I will notice I'm a little more gassy or bloated. And right now I'm still trying to bulk. So if I add broccoli to every meal or green to every meal, I do notice that I'm fuller longer. I am more bloated and a little bit gassy. So the meals that are bigger, I take them out.
Right.
really, I think with the Gaia, I have that in the morning, and after that, I'll have like just one meal with greens throughout the day. And I've noticed, I wouldn't say I'm doing the vertical diet, but I've just decreased the green veggies a little bit, and I'm not as bloated, not as gassy. Just because with my iron issue, I'm starting to think it's a food allergy potentially, because I'm just not absorbing what I'm taking. And I'm starting to notice, like, okay, what do I eat where I get bloated or distended or gassy? And if I go a little too heavy on like the greens and stuff, I notice that. Or even like if I have pasta, like tomato sauce, like the acidic aspect of it will kind of bug me a little bit. I think the vertical diet is good. I think, though, from research I've done, like you said, it's pretty much just protein and carbs that are easily digestible carbs, fast digestible carbs, and lean, more like your leaner protein. But I still think you need those micronutrients from the veggies here and there.
Sure.
You don't need them every single meal. But I do think there's a time and a place for them. And I think they should at least be in one meal a day, or do a greens drink if you're not going to, eat them.
Yeah.
But it does allow you to get down a good amount of food without those veggies filling you up, and then it can add to the, the overall density of the food, which can make you gassy and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, if you watch back on this hatecast from the very beginning where we started doing videos all the way up to right now, I'm bigger and I'm leaner than I was back then. Yep. And that's because I found something that works for me. And what I keep telling people, because I get asked, because I went through that little weight gain, right? I went from 240 all the way to 280, right? And I went there eating the way that works for me. People ask me, did you use the vertical diet? Did you use a carnivore diet? Like, what's your diet? And they want me to put some sort of wording to what I do, right? Mm-hmm. And it's just a set of principles that I've personally used that have worked for me. And it's the same thing with Stan Efferding and the vertical diet. The reason he doesn't eat certain things is because that's the diet that works for him. There isn't anything magical, but I will say this about the vertical diet. It's not the worst thing out there for you. It's scalable. That's the thing too, which I think is missing with a lot of things. Like keto to a certain point is scalable, and then it gets ridiculous. If you're a competitor eating 6,000 calories worth of keto-friendly foods, going to run into some issues. Either by kicking yourself out of ketosis because you have too much protein, which can happen, or on the opposite end, running into some of the same issues that happen when somebody has a high, extremely, extremely, extremely high fat diet if you're doing keto in the traditional sense, right? And, just like Jamie and I had talked about in the past, something that is really interesting about the carnivore diet, right, and that's another one we'll talk about, is people are under the assumption that you need fiber, and that's why you shouldn't do the carnivore diet. Well, there's kind of new research coming out that there's this there's more research being done on this, right? Because it's not thoroughly understood how or what in the hell happens, but Dr. Sean Baker, he says that you get like the shits, like your first time doing the carnivore diet, and that's because there's this enzyme that's this putrefaction enzyme that turns amino acids into fiber. It's the same thing that decomposes dead bodies. The same enzyme. What it does is it takes amino acids, breaks them down, and turns them into some sort of dietary fiber, right? Helps everything move through without having fiber needs. Now, I will say this about the carnivore diet and the keto diet or whatever low fiber diet you're doing. There is exactly zero research on what other health ramifications that using this pathway to act as fiber has, right?
Well, if you don't mean, I don't mean to cut you off, but like, in that carnivore diet, like I have some people who do it, and they're eating potatoes, red potatoes,
That's not the carnivore diet. That's not the carnivore diet. The carnovore diet is only meat.
They're not only meat, right? No carbs.
Only meat. Carnivore.
Yeah, okay, well then, when they're posting their meal and they're tagging Stanley for eating the carnivore diet, and the person I'm talking about, he's not a pro, but he's a very, very high amateur level competitor. He's,
Sure.
Super heavyweight, 300-pound guy, and he would tag the carnivore diet, but he's got steak and potato. And I was like, well, I thought the carnivore diet was only like protein, but then I was like, well, maybe I missed something where it's after a workout, like you have protein, carbs and whatnot. But unless he, like you said though, unless he modified it a little bit to where he's doing all of the meals and then post workout he's just having a little bit of carbs. I don't know, but I've yet to hear about like the protein with the enzymes and turning into fiber. I will say for me personally, I've tried multiple fiber products, and I will say, even though it's not a part of our company, but Dave Palumbo has a fiberlyzed product. It is soluble and insoluble together. I've taken other fiber products, Mucinex or whatever, and it didn't work as well as where this stuff. The first time I took it, 20 minutes later, I was like, holy shit, like literally. And I'm out of it, for 2 or 3 days, and then I notice my digestion goes off a little bit. But then if I do it where I wake up in the morning, I'll chug that, and then I'll chug the Gaia, then I'll get ready for work. And within 20 minutes or so, it keeps me regular, and I do notice, for me personally, the fiber being good. But my understanding, the vertical diet, you're eating a lot of protein, correct? Like
you're eating.
It depends on your size.
The vertical diet and the carnivore diet. So the carnivore diet is meats only, right? The vertical diet is the steak, rice, vegetables, and some other, basically, I guess the right word would be approved foods, like vertical diet approved foods.
Okay.
So he has like sweet potato in there and peppers instead of high gas
diet. You were talking, I just got confused. The vertical diet.
No, you're fine.
Carnivore, though, that just makes sense. Carnivore, animal, meat, protein.
Right.
I was thinking, was still kind of stuck in the vertical diet part, but the carnivore diet, having only protein all the time, eventually, depending on how much you are consuming, and it goes up, I would say it goes with your size, but then again, if it goes, a certain amount, if you go like a certain amount of protein per body weight, doesn't matter how big or how small you are, percentage-wise, you're still consuming the same amount of protein. So someone who's 200 pounds, and they say, okay, 1.5 grams per body weight, or per pound of body weight, just an example, they're going to eat less protein, but mathematically it's the same percentage as what I would consume for my body to handle. The only issue with that is only all that protein is, it can be, if you have to eat quite a bit, like the strain over time when the kidneys to process and break it down. But I have not heard of, and that was my biggest thing, is the lack of fiber, because I never heard of the protein and the enzymes in there. The burning to help with fiber. I would just think if you only have
that's
protein,
because it's such a niche thing. Like it, and that's the other thing too. People don't realize is the ketogenic diet, right? Let's bring that back into the fray. Has some research on competitors, right? Like there's competitors that use the ketogenic diet, and there's some that perform well. Fine. The vertical diet, it's kind of hard not to find people that haven't eaten, or ate steak and potatoes or something like for, prep or something like that. It's hard to find people that have not done that successfully.
I mean, the vertical diet to me is just a normal diet.
I haven't seen much, if any, top tier, and I'm talking top tier, top 20 guys, top 20 people in their field, top 20 amateurs even, with the carnivore diet as their way of lifestyle. I just haven't seen it. And that's nothing to say that the carnivore diet isn't effective, but I don't think it has a place in many competitors' wheelhouse, and I'll give you a reason why. There are certain diets like the ketogenic diet, the even Atkins diet works perfectly for Gen Pop, right? Yeah. Like if Gen Pop, people who just want to go into the gym, look better, everything like that, that's fine. Mm-hmm. And then whenever you run into a competitor, their needs are completely sometimes different from Gen Pop, And I think a lot of people see the success that Dr. Sean Baker had with the carnivore diet, then they see the success that people have had with the ketogenic diet and everything like that, so they think that that's the way they need to go. And
well, I mean, you think about with both of us being bigger guys, taller, like
that does bring up some issues too. Yeah.
The gain weight, like you know the amount of calories you have to consume. You do the carnivore diet, you're telling me you're gonna eat 600 grams of protein a day. To get honestly that with 600 grams of protein, times 4. I mean that the amount of calories. That's like a diet. That's like a contest prep diet. Like I mean, the caloric intake would be very low. You know, it's just not something like you said. The general population could do it for a month or so, maybe 2 months, and they would just get very insulin sensitive. They deplete the glycogen, and they would probably get lean. But like you're saying, it's not something that I don't think anybody can maintain for more than maybe a month or two. I think your body eventually would start fighting against you a little bit.
I will say I think it's great for autoimmune disorders, right?
Yes.
Somebody with autoimmune, that I think that red meat is kind of the savior when it comes to stuff like Hashimoto's, when it comes to stuff like rheumatoid arthritis or something like that, where all this excess sugar is going to cause an inflammation response. Well, I mean, man, you've got pretty much a cure. Or not a cure, but something that'll make your life a lot easier,
Yeah. Well, after the keto diet, everyone's like, oh, well, it helps with preventing cancer. Well, the keto diet, all it does is because you're not having the carbs cause inflammation internally. So you take away carbs and you lower your protein and you increase your fat. All you do is you decrease inflammation in your body, and that's where people are starting to say, well, it helps with, not obviously curing cancer, but helping to decrease it, apparently. That's like one of the main things right now people talk about a lot, which is true, because high amounts of protein, high amounts of carbs do cause inflammation, and that I've seen in research where it can, expedite the process of the cancerous cells expanding and, becoming an issue. But once again, the keto diet. I mean, tell me someone who does that their whole for more than 3 months and stays in ketosis the whole time. You literally can't go anywhere without your food on you at all times. You can't go out in public and do anything. Like this weekend, let's say Memorial Day weekend, what would you do? You'd have to take all your food with you to these get-togethers, which, I mean, I used to do that in years past if I was dieting,
Yeah.
But I just, I think it's very good short term. I really think, though, what you touched on earlier, when people, when you were gaining weight and what's your diet, I think a lot of this comes down to is people want to make money, right? So when I give a client a diet, I don't say, okay, this is what the diet's called. No. What you're getting is I'm going to give you a well-balanced intake of nutrients to help fit your caloric need.
It would be damn good marketing if you could, though, man.
I know, right? But it's like, here's your diet. Like, there's no name for it. It's a diet. You're eating healthier whole foods, and you're consuming the correct amount of calories. But, everyone wants to find money, and the problem is with the general population, like we're going to touch on today, is their lack of knowledge of, what is a carbohydrate? How many calories in a carbohydrate, or fat, or a protein? So when they just say, oh, well, if I do the Weight Watchers, okay, Weight Watchers is you're just counting your calories.
Right.
It teaches you what foods have what. Same with the Atkins diet. It's a no-carb diet.
Right.
It's just people don't even know what those are to begin with. So, well, I'm going to buy this program, so tell me what to eat. Or you could just go online for 20 minutes, figure out what a protein and carb and fat are, and, do this all yourself. But like anything, it's like when we buy supplements or whatever, or anytime you invest money into something, your brain, how the human brain works, you're going to most likely do it because you've physically invested money that you've worked for into it.
Because you want that return on investment.
Right.
ROI.
Like, well, I want to buy a fat burner. Okay. What's your diet like? Well, it's like, okay, well, if you buy this fat burner, you've got to eat this way for this to work. Yeah. So they clean up their diet. Yes, the fat burner works, but they should be implemented when the diet has got you kind of stuck. Now you introduce the fat burner to get you past that plateau. So I tell people, get on a diet for 3 weeks. And then when your weight stops going down, okay, now add that. Because if you add it right from the get-go, that's just another tool in the tool belt that you can't use. And I'm a big advocate with a lot of people, if you're trying to lose weight, only taking your carbohydrates in and around the workout,
Yeah.
So if you have 6 meals a day, 2, maybe 3 are carbs, depending on who you are, So I know people who can bulk doing that and people who want to lose weight. I find it great. My energy is good when I do that. The only thing I've noticed is if I try to do then a lot of calories pre-workout, I eat, and then I'm like, holy shit, insulin spike, I'm tired. And now I'm like not wanting to go to the gym. So, I just started implementing carbs, intra-workout, a little bit of creatine, so I'll have a little less carbs pre-workout, maybe only 150 grams. Then I'll have 80 intra, and then after, like before we got on here, I chugged some protein real quick, and I ate a bowl of cereal just as I'm working out. And then when we're done, I'll go eat a whole food meal, chicken rice. But I get the carbs and be quick and the protein be quick. And then an hour later, now I'm going to eat a chicken rice or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
So you got to find what works for you. I mean,
not only that, but like companies, and look, guys, we sell supplements, but if you've been listening to these podcasts for a long time, you'll know that we don't shove them in your face constantly. I mean, you just mentioned a great product by another person, Fiberlize. It's a great product, and if ever we come out with a fiber product, I mean, that's something, by the way, if you guys would be interested in that, please let us know in the comment section below, but we're still going to suggest other people's products because a lot of stuff works out there, and people chase that 10% and they miss the 90, They miss the diet, the proper training, getting your sleep, on point. All these things that are so important. Supplements and anything that you can do extra just highlights your results. You know, it's not game changing, and I'm probably gonna get fired for saying that, but it's like we offer you guys a great pre-workout, but if you have a great pre-workout and you're eating 1,200 calories a day as a 180-pound man, you're not going to gain muscle. Like you need to push the food. You need to push the food intake.
And that's what people need to realize too when it comes to supplementation. You need to understand, okay, a pre-workout is not going to put on muscle. What is it going to do? Like the Furox, it's going to provide great energy, focus. It's got great ingredients for a pump product, so it's going to enhance your blood flow. Okay.
Yeah.
What the point of that is to push more volume, increase blood flow, increase the size of the muscle, break down more muscle fiber. Now you come home, and usually if you train hard, you're not going to be hungry after you work out. That's where you use the protein. You get 1 scoop or 2 quick, chug it down, go take a shower, get your central nervous system to relax, and then you eat a whole meal with your protein and carbs. But that's where the supplementation is key. Is there are certain times for them where protein, it's really good if like you're traveling and you're not gonna be able to eat for 6 hours. Okay, well in between, chug a shake just to get your protein in. But pre-workout, if you're not someone who likes to eat a big meal like me, I'll do like some chicken or whatever, some carbs, and I'll do 1 scoop of protein so I don't have as much bulkier food mass in my stomach. Yeah. And then post-workout, I'm not starving because I have carbs during. So I come home, I'll do 1 scoop, and I'm a 260-pound guy, chug it down, get 25 grams of protein, then I'll go shower, relax, and then, like today, and then I'll eat a meal after when I'm hungry and I'm kind of calmed down. So there are a time and a place, but like you said, they are supplements, which is an aid. Without the actual diet part, we don't, as a company, there are companies out there that just want you to buy it, it'll work no matter what. No, because that it's not going to work like you think. Everyone, the best thing people want is people to be honest. Yeah. Yes, we have supplements. Yes, they work. But if you don't actually focus on the diet and the training part, then you're going to be wasting your money. Then you're going to, kind of be let down, and then you're just going to give up, and you're not going to keep kind of making it a lifestyle and doing it. So
Yeah.
You've got to work on the diet and understand nutrition. Not a lot. You can literally have 30 minutes of looking online, understand a little.
People do it all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. Just get your feet wet, get you started. Then once you get rolling after the first week or two, then you're like, oh, wow, okay. Now I really want, learn a little more. And, just people, as you said, though, they just want to do that one thing for that 10% and not do the 90, and they want to jump right in, balls to the wall. Then I'm like, whoa, this is hard.
Right.
It's like with anything. You either gotta flip that switch and do it, but you also kind of ease into it. Focus on the diet first. Get a decent training program. Don't go in there and try to kill yourself. Ease into the training intensity. Right. And then once you get the diet down, the training intensity down, all right, now let's add your supplements in there to help you along the way once you've got a good base of knowledge, And that's why company do a good job at that.
Speaking of base of knowledge, let's jump right into the basics because some people are still unaware of some of the basics, okay? Yeah. A little preface to this conversation, okay? There are people in this world that are not comfortable with counting calories, okay? This is only an explanation to help you guys quantify the amount of food that you're putting in your body. Because if you have never tracked calories before, even if you do not plan to do so in the future, if you track calories for, let's just say, a month, or if you track food intake for a month, right? And if you're not losing weight and you want to lose weight, that gives you a good baseline. If you are losing weight and you want to gain weight, that gives you a good baseline on where you need to make changes to make the results you want to see come to life. It gives you some sort of baseline. Yep. So before we go into this explanation, just know we are not a count your every single calorie, put in your mouth zealots. And we're not going to sit there and say, if you don't count your calories, you're never going to be successful, because that's a damn lie. People have been doing it for years by doing portion sizes. I mean, It's not rocket science. But let's go into, because the science behind calories, it's a way to quantify food intake. So can you explain to us what a calorie is, and I'll jump in if I need to.
Can you hear me okay? Because there's someone, I don't know what the hell they're in the neighborhood. It sounds like they're driving a go-kart or something. But you can hear me okay?
Oh, yeah, you're fine. Yeah.
I don't know.
It just adds ambience to the podcast. Don't worry about it.
What the hell is that noise? It just started. It sounds like, dude, if your lawnmower is that loud, thing's going to blow up. I don't know what the hell it is. But no, so with the base knowledge, right? So,
right. So what is a calorie?
Right. And I teach my students this because in all reality, I almost think any more nutrition is more important than sex ed. Because kids now, they hear and see a lot of stuff regarding for the teaching part of,
especially because kids aren't going to pay attention to sex ed.
Right. And they already, between the social media and music, they think they know it all, right? But when it comes to nutrition, they have no idea. And their parents have no idea. And that's where I talked about it. So, like, for instance, we went over, like, protein, carbs, and fats, how many calories there are, all this stuff. And I had working partners, and they had to construct a diet, a 5 to 6 meal a day diet that would be Monday, a 7-day-a-week diet. And the way they made it, they had to be able to hand it to me, and I can just give it to a random person, and they would understand it. And they had to be working with it.
That's
I did not think they were right, but not for me, because it was a headache. Because they struggled like crazy. I mean, I even put a client diet up there, how it should look on an Excel document that I had. Once they got rolling, though, and you realized you can look it up online, and then I explained, so like the base stuff, like a protein, okay? You have 1 gram of protein is 4 calories.
Right.
You got your carb, 1 gram of carb is 4 calories. Protein, 1 gram of fat, 1 gram of fat is 9 calories. All right, so then I said, okay, you have to figure out what's your goal, right? Are you someone who's 200 pounds and you want to gain any muscle? That's great. So you need about, maybe there's different studies that show this. It always fluctuates, but we'll say 1.25 grams of protein per pound. Okay?
Right.
So if you're 200, I don't know, let's say you're going to eat probably 250 to 300 grams of protein, fluctuating. All right, and then your fat, people always say the 20% of your calorie intake, but that's case dependent as well.
Hold on just a second real quick.
Yep.
So guys, just so you're aware, calories are nothing but a way to quantify energy intake, right? And the way to manipulate your body in a way that would be beneficial towards body composition changes is to quantify your energy intake and then weigh how much energy you're outputting. For example, how much gas you put in your car to the amount of miles that you want to go, right? It's the exact same thing. It really is simple. And calories have their medical uses too, because in times of starvation, right, or in times of super, I cannot express this enough, super morbid obesity, people are actually put into anorexic. They're put into inpatient care facilities and given a certain amount of calories so that they can fix the problem, right? So calories aren't just something that fitness bros on bodybuilding forums or something use to make their biceps more bigger. It's actually a way to quantify energy intake and energy expenditure and manipulate it in such a way. That's why we use calories to do what we do.
And that's another thing too. And I just realized what that sound is. I'm bitching about it, and it's my fiance standing chairs in the garage.
Oh, get destroyed. Yeah.
No. Luckily, she can't hear me because I'm like, what the hell? And I realized we bought chairs and she's saying I'm down. I'm like, okay.
I'll send her the clip. Don't worry.
Yeah, I'll tell her. But no, with regards to the, when you talk about, energy, that brings up, and I won't get too far off topic, but brings up NEAT, and people don't even know what that is, but like, everyone thinks you've got to go on a treadmill for X amount of time. At the end of the day, it depends on your job, right? So for me being a teacher, I can do way less cardio than somebody who has a desk job because I'm getting on my watch 15, 20,000 steps a day, right? As where they're getting 5. So they've got to do more cardio. Now, I've done it where I've taught and I've done cardio and I was just stupid peeled, but I felt like a bag of shit, but I was shredded. But I think, I started losing too much muscle, but that's different. But, you have to figure out, okay, am I an active person? Okay, so somebody who is 6'4", 260, and they are not as active as me, I might be able to diet on 4,000 calories. They might just start dieting at 3,000 because they're simply not burning as much as I am during the day. So that's where knowing your energy expenditure, which there are websites you can look at, apps you can use, and you can figure out roughly what your total daily energy expenditure is, your TDEE. You can kind of figure that out, and that's
what I would suggest for everybody to do is for a month or a week or two period is maintain their body weight. If you go to one of these online calculators and you don't hit the nail on the head with your caloric expenditure, what you do is you adjust either up or down by 100 or 200, right? That should bring you within a ballpark in order to adjust what you need to adjust in order to either gain, maintain, or lose weight. Now, let's take a little backtrack and then we can go over how to achieve your goals when it comes to diet, okay? So, protein, 4 calories per gram of protein. Now, what is the purpose of protein?
Everyone, it's funny, people ask, what are branched chain amino acids? Well, really that's what helps make up protein. So protein is, we talked earlier, like the amino acids breaking into digestive enzymes. Protein has your amino acids in it. Protein is what is used to help build muscle primarily. Carbs can assist fat a little, but the main source for putting on lean muscle and helping that recovery process is the amino acids, which are in protein sources. And the leaner, the better, But then again, when you're bulking, there's no problem eating 80, 20-gram beef. Why not get the extra fat calories, Just don't eat that before you go train because you want your fat lower. But it's the building block of muscle. So without protein, and there are people who will say, well, I only had a half a gram of protein per pound and I didn't lose any muscle. Yeah, well, you're also using PEDs. So let's just throw that out of the equation,
Yeah.
right? So we're talking here of someone who is not. You know,
Right.
you should have no less than 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight if you are an active person.
Right.
If you're doing resistance training where you're lifting 4 times a week, then shoot for that 1.15, 1.25. If you're someone who's enhanced, you can maybe go 1.5 to 2. There's
Right.
studies that show, but any more than that, it's overkill. And then you're straining your, so if you're a 200-pound person, there's no reason why you should eat 400 grams of protein, because you're going to strain your kidneys and then you're just going to excrete it out of your body. So when you do that, get your weight and then say, okay, I'm 150 pounds.
Right.
All right, I'm going to do 150 grams of protein for 2 weeks. And let's see where my body composition, I'll maybe do like 3-4 weeks. Then things don't click that fast. And just see, okay, how am I digesting that much protein? Because you'll know too much protein can give you some issues.
Yeah.
So see how you're digesting it, see how your performance is in the gym, your recovery, and then, once you figure that out, okay, then figure out your carbohydrate intake. So in carbs, same thing, 1 gram is 4 calories.
Hold on just 1 second.
Yeah.
So just to kind of clarify what protein is used for, is it's used for all of the little maintenance things, right? Mm-hmm. As well as building muscle. We care about it for the building muscle and body composition changes. Yeah. Our body cares about it because literally our nails, our hair, our skin, everything's made of these little devils that hide in all of their high protein food, right? So it's important to get amino acids because, for example, if you're building a building, right, and the construction crew shows up and they're like, we're ready to work, and there's no building materials, well, they just waste time, right? So if you care about your results, you're going to say, oh, well, here's your building materials, get to work, and your body's going to take care of the rest when it comes to protein requirements. And that's exactly what protein does, is it just helps when it comes to results, fitness-related results. It helps literally put brick by brick to build a better body. That's exactly what protein does.
Yeah, and the one thing you mentioned too, like you mentioned the hair and nails, all that stuff. A lot of people, they don't take in enough protein and they don't want to. So one product that's become very popular in the last couple of years is collagen. Which is,
well, I personally like collagen for other uses too.
Their collagen has a lot of benefits. I have not invested the money into using it, kind of on a budget. So I'm like,
Yeah.
But where the store that I work at, I mean, it is collagen is a huge, huge selling thing. People get amazing results for it. So, but that's why your protein is important. Like you said, there are other facts in your body that if you get low on protein, you're going to get brittle nails. Your hair, it does a lot more than just muscle. So that's why if we're just talking to the average person right now, it's very unfortunate, but the average person who doesn't work out has a carbohydrate-based diet, just based off society.
Carbs and fats, man.
That's it. And they get trace protein, but they
get just enough to skirt by.
They might get maybe 100 grams a day, just based off because there's a little bit in oatmeal, there's a little bit with your fat sources, peanuts, that protein, whatever they're not.
Well, let's go over that real quick. What's some protein sources that you would suggest people, even regular people, add into their diet? Because I know one thing is dying right now, and that's the family dinner table. And I'm not one of those guys that says that everyone needs to have a family dinner or whatever, but people rely so much on going out and getting these carbohydrate-rich and fat-rich meals or at their favorite fast food place, right? I mean, they might have, they might go to somewhere and get these fried fish patties, and then they get like a load, and I'm talking a bag full of either potato salad, or they'll get like French fries or whatever.
Yeah. And
then they're wondering like, what the hell? Where is all this coming from? Where are all these issues coming from? Well,
and that stuff too. It's a lot more carbs than that shit. I mean, there's a lot of eating fried stuff every day is not good. But
but what are some approved protein sources from you?
Yeah, approved protein. So, I mean, like we've said in other videos before, protein, if it makes noise, eat it, right? Which sounds, I mean, it's not the nicest way to put it, but let's just be blunt. Protein for the most part, comes from animals, right? No matter, you got fish. So there's been lots of controversy on tilapia, and we won't get into that. But personally, I'm like, whatever. I mean, I'll eat this shit either. I don't care. But I mean, if I don't eat it in the off season, I eat it if I'm cutting, maybe. I really try to avoid it. It doesn't taste the best either, but even like off season, like salmon is great. You get your omegas in there. It's a great fish, healthy fat, your healthy saturated fats. You get your omegas in there. Chicken is good. Obviously, like your lean steak. A little extra fat is actually not going to hurt you. Your ground beef, you should really go no less than 80-20. And that's if you cook the grease off or drain the grease out. Eggs are your best.
Eggs are awesome.
Eggs are the best source of protein you can get, and like what I do is I'll mix.
And if you think eggs are bad for you, fuck you. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Anymore, dude, everything's bad for you. You fucking kidding me? Like, what? Everyone wants to argue everything's bad for you, unless
I'm not even going after that argument because people will use that argument to justify a lot of things. But let me tell you something about eggs. There are so many fucking health benefits, but the problem is in this country, okay? Specifically America, where walking upstairs is a fucking feat, okay? Listen here. We don't do anything small, right? We do everything extremely large. I mean, half of our people are that way. Look, people, you can eat up to like 8 eggs a day and it'll be fine. When you start eating 8 eggs a day, plus this fried shit, plus sausage, plus all this other like high fat, high carbohydrate food, that's when, and all of the studies that have to do with eggs and heart disease and cholesterol and all that shit, is eggs being a part of an average American diet. It's so stupid.
And what's crazy is that the egg yolk and like that fat is actually very good
wonderful.
For you. But once again, in moderation. Eating 10 a day of the whole eggs isn't the best, but like you're saying, the problem is they'd be like, oh, well, I had a healthy breakfast, and then for lunch, it's a greasy ass sandwich, and now you've got all the other trans fat in there, and that's what's causing the cholesterol issues when they just, well, what's your breakfast? Eggs. Oh, wow. It's the eggs. It's not that fried chicken or the fried fish.
It's not that pint of Ben & Jerry's that you downed right before this test. I mean,
I eat Ben & Jerry's frequently, but we won't go there either.
So do I.
But yeah, I mean, eggs are good, and what I will do is like when I make my shakes, and especially when I'm getting low on protein in the same way, but especially at nighttime, actually night and morning. Now lately, just more protein, I'll just take a scoop in between a meal, and like the kind I got, I mean, I don't sip it, I'll just chug it right on down and just go on my day, right? In the morning, I will make a smoothie with, I'll do a cup of liquid egg whites, I'll do a scoop of protein, I will throw some berries in there, MCT oil, oats, stevia, cinnamon, not Epsom salt, Himalayan salt.
No. All right, guys, PSA, public service announcement, do not use Epsom salts for that purpose, okay? You will shit your brains out. It's a laxative.
Take Himalayan salt to help with electrolyte balance. Blend that up, and that's my breakfast. There, if you do it right, shit, that's 900 calories, and I can drink it. And everyone's like, well, you have to chew your food. Well, one meal is fine. I'm not drinking 6 fucking meals a day, So,
also, how much time do these people have? I don't know about you, but with the amount of food that we both probably eat, it's another full-time job chewing.
I've been trying to do. With work, like I'll do, and this is an example of people, okay, so say you're busy, like I am. Here's a prime example.
Yeah.
So that morning I'll do that shake, but it's all food and only 1 scoop of protein.
Yeah.
And then I'll have, when I eat, it's 2-3 hours again while I'm starting a class. So what I've been doing is, because we don't have it yet, but I've been using like the real food or like a meal replacement shake that has,
right.
So I'll do 3 scoops. So it's like 15 grams of fat, 30 grams of 90 grams of carbs, and 30 grams of protein. Then I'll take the chaos and pain, and what is that real food kind? Actually, with that pumpkin spice, I'll put 1 scoop of that in there, and it's a little chunky, so I make sure I have a shaker thing in the bottle. But I'll shake that up, and right there, so you're talking 15 fat, 90 carb, 55 grams of protein, I'll drink that. Now at 12 o'clock, when it's my time for lunch, I'll have a steak and rice. I'll have a whole food meal, and then at 2:30, before I go to practice, I'll make sure I down a meal real quick. And then, so out of my 6 meals, some days, 2 or 3 might be a shake of some sort, but there's always some sort of whole food and other nutrients in there as well, not just pure protein powder, because too much of that isn't good either. But if you're busy, there's nothing wrong with doing that to get your calories in and get your meals in. But don't think you can drink 5 protein shakes a day and eat a fucking banana. Oh, I'm good. Like, that's not good for you. You do have to, chewing the food and all that, there's studies that show that it does help with breaking down the food, digesting all the nutrients, blah, 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 right? But when you're busy, and now when I'm dieting, shit, I can eat a meal in 5 minutes. Like, but when I'm trying to gain weight, I know this shit's going to take me at least 20 minutes because I'm not going to scarf it down on meal number 5 because I'm not that hungry. But when I'm dieting, shoot, I got 5 minutes, boom, done. Right on to what I'm, next thing I'm doing. Yeah. And you're licking the fucking bowl because you're hungry,
I've been there
honestly,
way too many times.
I'm much rather deal with dieting and being hungry all day than overfeeding and stuffing and bloated and just look like a bag of shit and feel like it. But there's an example for you guys. If you're very busy, like I am, you can get it done. It's okay to implement shakes, but try to get some other nutrients in there. Right. Do a protein shake, but then have almonds in a bag and do 2 ounces of almonds. There you got protein, you got a little bit of carb, and you got a higher amount of fat in between meals. That fat will hold you over, give you good energy. Right. And it'll help you subside, and then you're not, 6 hours without food, 7 hours without food.
I kind of want to add too, because I know that we might have some vegetarian or vegan viewers because we're now on more places than we have ever been before. So I do have you guys in mind. First of all, you should probably switch your lifestyle. Second of all, pea protein is pretty good. They have some pretty good pea protein powders out there. We do not currently have one, although if you guys are interested in necessarily carrying that, please let us know because we're always looking to bring you guys better products. I will say that beans are a fantastic protein source, and they are a complete protein source.
And just make sure, though, you don't get one that's, make sure you get the right one because some can get, like, pinto beans. I mean, they're going to be pretty high in carb. You got to make sure, do your research on that a little bit.
Yeah. Chickpeas is another one that I know is popular, but the fiber kind of worries me if you increase your intake of that a lot. Yep. And as far as anything else goes, I mean, we're not a fan of soy here. We're not a fan of large soy intake here, so I can't really get in on the whole soy craze. Because
sodium. There's more studies show that you need sodium.
But soy.
So not. I mean, when people think soy sauce, all I think is sodium, but there's other factors too. So I don't want people to think that.
No, I'm talking about like fake meats that are made out of soy. Okay. Yeah, where you just downing this soy sauce. Well, everybody thinks of Chinese food. Don't worry about it.
10 minutes.
Yeah. But I think we'll move on to fats now. And I'm going to save the evil monster for last, which everyone hates.
If you do it right, but
no, just it's evil. So don't worry about it. That's what everybody tells me on Instagram. Everybody's selling a fit tea.
Yeah. Well, okay. All right. So fats, you've got So this is where obviously your fats are going to be a lot lower than your protein, depending on your goals. Now, keto, it'd be the complete opposite, right? Fats in here, protein here. But we're not talking about that. So you got 1 gram of fat is 9 calories.
And fats are used for healthy hormone production, right? Yep. They're also used for a lot of the different housekeeping in your body. They're also probably one of the most important things about them is they're like a delivery mechanism for nutrients. You do need some fats in your diet. Do not go extremely low fat. You will feel like shit. It's also important for brain health.
I've done it. I've done the carb low fat, and you are in a mental fog. I actually did it when I had low iron, and I was like, wow, I feel like complete shit. And I had low iron, so I'm in a mental fog, and I was going low fat. I was like, what the fuck is going on? But I mean, I've done 19 shows, and I was like, man, this is weird. Like, I don't feel bad, but I just no initiative. So if you cut those fats too low, it'll put your brain function will go down. You'll not be as focused. You'll lose your drive to do things. Healthy fats, though. Okay, so don't go in and eat a spoonful, which would be really disgusting, but eat a spoonful of mayonnaise or something and like think that that's what you want to do. All right,
or so Crisco.
Oh God. But I mean, there's some weird people out there that do some weird shit, so I don't know. I mean, it could happen.
Hey man, when I was a kid, I used to eat butter off the stick, so don't worry about it.
Oh, Christ. Well, you were also. I mean, that's when you were also.
Listen, it was amazing. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway,
go do it now. Tell me how you feel. But actually, I feel pretty good.
Well,
but
the calories I could use right now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the biggest an example of a great fat is everyone's like, well, I'm gonna use coconut oil. Great, but why do you use coconut oil? Because of the MCT in it, right? So if you just take MCT by itself, you literally will get an increase of energy and brain function. I'm not even shitting you. I've been very bad at not doing it, and I have the bottle always in my bag with me. I'm kind of scared because it's been out in the sun, and I don't know. It's been a while, but if you take that, you will notice almost an immediate energy kind of pick me up from the MCT oil, and it's also a very, very healthy fat.
Also, people forget that most of coconut oil is long-chain fatty acids.
Right.
They're long-chain fatty acids.
Yes.
So that means you're only getting a small percentage of MCT oil, and you're getting this large amount of long-chain fatty acids. So it's like...
And you don't want that. What you want is the MCT.
Right. That's why people usually turn to coconut oil. It's for the MCT.
Yes. But it's a minuscule amount to where it doesn't give you the benefits that you should get.
We're going to get some hate for this one.
Avocados are great. Those are very good. Add them to your meals. Just make sure you're eating that meal then or within a few hours because it'll go bad as long as they're good avocados.
Right.
Almonds are great. Walnuts are good. Almond butter is good. I think natural peanut butter is fine. When I'm dieting, no. But right now, natural, you have the natural sugars. That stuff is minuscule in my eyes, I think, unless you're trying to get peeled. But peanuts are not the best fat source to use. Cashews are not necessarily the best fat source to use. Pecans are kind of in the middle, but if you go with the walnuts, the almonds, they have almonds, so many almonds now they're flavored. Like, those are fine to eat. Oh God, the seasoning. No, it's fine. Okay, you don't have to eat pure raw organic almonds. You can have the seasoning that tastes good. Only thing those have is some extra sodium. And if you're dieting, sodium is your best friend because it's going to keep you fuller, keep your water in. When you're bulking, your condiments and all that stuff have sodium, but I still add it. Especially now, like here being so hot, sweating my ass off. It helps you stay hydrated, hold your water, but different topic. So, but those fats the problem with fats is you don't have a huge variety to work with in regards that are healthy.
But you have seeds too. That's another thing too.
Seeds,
if you're a big sunflower seeds guy, cool beans. Pumpkin seeds, cool.
What's the God, they're in the cupboard right now. The little brown ones. Not chia seeds.
Flax seeds.
Flaxseed.
Flaxseed's good too.
Great.
Yeah.
Put them right in your oatmeal. Put them right in your shake. You don't even taste them. Those are great.
And everybody should be taking some sort of fish oil supplement.
Yes.
For general health.
The doctor actually told me because of my low iron to stop because it can thin your blood, but I did some research and that's not right. So, but
he's worried about because if you had a low red blood cell, was it low iron or was it low red blood cell count because of iron?
No, my red blood cell count's healthy. So he just
wanted.
I
don't understand.
He told me to take it out just to see if it would affect it, but it didn't help or hurt at all. So, but so fats, you don't have as many choices, but you can add them to meals pretty easy. You can get those in pretty convenient. You can find them anywhere. Anymore. You can find almonds in a pinch and stuff in the gas station if you have to. If you're in a pinch, I mean, you can grab some peanuts. It's not going to kill you once in a while to get your calories in, or just to meet your fat requirement. Just know that there's going to be a little extra here and there.
Yeah, by the way, Blue Diamond is doing God's work. So they have come out with these flavored almonds that are spectacular, right?
Dude,
the wasabi.
Wasabi, the salt. Oh, my God. Dude,
the sriracha.
Dude, I would literally have to take them out, put them in a plastic bag, and only eat them then, because I would just fucking just keep hammering them.
Yeah. Besides that, too, there are some other ones that could be useful for certain people. If you're vegan, this is not going to be a good choice, but actual butter instead of margarine seems to be very, very, and if you're like ultra bougie, you can go for the grass-fed butter and be all, awesome and all that stuff. But we'll talk about that here in a minute, which I think we're going to piss people off on that one. So butter, and then I think that some of the olive oil is a good one too. And avocado oil, by the way, is becoming very popular for whatever reason.
Really? I haven't really heard much about that.
They sell, I think because it became easier to produce is the thing. So, because we're all the time finding things that used to be expensive become cheaper, or things that used to be cheap become expensive because of production issues or modern or industrialized manufacturing processes. So, avocado oil is becoming a little bit popular, and I think that is great with a little bit of salt and pepper on some salads, because it has a very mild taste. It's not going to be like olive oil. It's going to be very, 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 very mild. And it will help you get some good fats in and all that stuff. Also, certain cheeses are spectacular when it comes to fat profiles. For example, feta, goat cheese is another one I am absolutely in love with. I do actually like goat cheese. And then, some of the aged cheddar and aged Gouda and stuff like that is pretty good fat profile wise.
And just be careful with some cheeses, though. You don't want to get too much dairy.
Yeah.
Because that can, people go keto. Oh, I get to eat all the cheese I want. That's terrible for you. Like, you want dairy. I have it. Like, I'm not anti-dairy, but and
I'm also not going mad.
Right, in moderation. Everything in moderation.
Go mad diet. I think that was pretty okay for guys trying to gain weight if they're like in high school, but it can make people lactose intolerant. It's pretty horrendous.
The gallon of milk and that.
Yeah.
That's not the whole. I drink a gallon of chocolate milk every day. That's cool when you're young, but it ain't not good to do every day.
Let's just wait until you have that one ice cream when you're like 30 and you start shitting your brains out. Like, let's wait for that. Yeah. But anyway,
carbs?
I forgot. Yogurt is a great protein source as well. Greek yogurt. Yeah. I felt the need to mention that because of gut health being such a good thing.
Greek yogurt's great, and even like cottage cheese before bed with some protein. Like, you take cottage cheese, protein, mix it up, put a little sweetener in there, and cottage cheese is great because it's got fat in there, it's got protein, and it'll slowly digest. So it's great for like at night. But cottage cheese, it's not too crazy with dairy. Like, that's good. That's a good thing you do too.
So
and you get some added protein with the fat.
Let's move over into the fun one, because this one causes some bit of controversy. People are anti-carbs. Carbs need to die. Carbs need to go away. Carbs. I'm going to rock back and forth.
And it's funny you say, because I just had a lady, girl, well, she's like 30, say young lady in her 30s contacted me about her coach. And there are some other things that he wanted to implement that would cause health issues, hormone issues. Like, I was like, that makes no sense at all. That's terrible for you. Do not do that. But then, well, do post-cardio instead of fast cardio, because post-cardio, you're in a deficit. No, you dumb idiot. You're in a diet. You're in a deficit all the time. And then the best what got me was, well, you're losing weight too fast. Who the fuck says that? Lose weight too fast? Okay, you want to.
That seems like a good problem.
And then maintain if you're doing a show. You don't want to try to lose it all at the end. You lose your muscle. But anyway, so what I was getting on was, he's like, well, you're losing weight too fast, so I'm going to do your cardio instead of fasted, do post-workout. That doesn't make a fucking difference, really. And then second of all,
that can eat into some recovery, too.
Well, and yeah, eating recovery, but if you're doing it fasted, it's great for your metabolic rate. You know, it'll increase your metabolism during the day. You'll burn more calories at rest afterwards, blah, blah. But then he's like, okay, and we're going to increase your carbs because you're losing weight. What gets me is everyone thinks that carbs are going to make you not lose weight. If done right, if you're going no carb, and then all of a sudden you have carbs for like 2 days or a day, you will lose 2 or 3 pounds.
Yeah.
It gives you that spike. So if you do carbs at the right time of the day, like for me, when I was going no carb, low carbs, I wasn't training, so my iron was low, I looked like a bag of shit. Like, I was just always flat, didn't look good. And all of a sudden I started having carbs, and I started leaning out. I started filling out. So I was looking leaner. I felt better. And my metabolism just went, like, I'm like, holy shit, I'm hungry 2 hours later. Like, my metabolism just went off the hook. So if you do carbs around the right time, they are not the enemy. They can actually be very beneficial to weight loss. The problem is everyone goes, oh, carbs are the enemy. They cut them out. You lose weight real quick. Pretty much you're losing glycogen and you're losing water. You're not losing as much fat as you think. It's just you were a water buffalo and you had a bunch of glycogen and inflammation from them because you're eating too many. So you cut out the carbs, you lose a quick 15 pounds in 3 weeks, and then you don't lose any more weight. Yeah. And they say, okay, well, let's add carbs in post-workout. Okay, well, now your metabolism is going and you maybe start to lose a pound or two. Okay, let's do it pre and post-workout. Okay, now your metabolism goes a little more. Okay, on Saturday, stick normal meals, and at night, you have a cheat meal. Pretty much a cheat meal, and I specify sometimes somebody likes whatever you want, but other people, if they're prepping or whatever, or if they're really hardcore, all right, have a cheat meal, primarily carbs.
Yeah.
Little minimal fat, not a lot of protein, stick to a lot of carbs, and then go to bed. And they'll wake up, they'll drop weight, they'll look great, and then they'll be starving. When people say they have a cheat meal and they don't wake up hungry, that's not good. Like, if you have a ton of carbs and you wake up in the morning and you're not hungry, your metabolism is not where it needs to be. So carbs can be very beneficial in getting you to your weight loss goals when they're used appropriate. So we mentioned before, being active, right? If you have a job where you sit at a desk all day, then you don't need to be eating carbs all day because you're not going to burn them at all. They're just going to sit right above your belt buckle.
But my 600 carb life.
Right. And then, how come you can have all these carbs and lose weight, but I can't? It's your lifestyle. Are you active? I can eat 1,000 carbs or more to gain weight. I can diet on 400, 300, but I'm also 6'4", 260, and I'm on my feet all day. If someone has a desk job, okay, you might diet down and be on 50 carbs because you're not even burning them, and they'll just sit and store fat. So having your typical oatmeal in the morning, okay, do not wake up and have oatmeal in the morning if you're going to go sit until 3 o'clock pretty much all day. Keep those carbs low. Keep your blood sugar levels lower.
Yeah.
Stick to your protein and fats. You will feel great. You will have phenomenal energy. And then you have a little bit of carbs. Maybe, let's say, meal 3, you have a little bit of carbs, maybe 25 grams of carbs. Meal 4 is your pre-workout meal. You have 75 grams of carbs. You work out. Maybe have a little intra if you want, depending on your goals. Post-workout, now you got 100. That's maybe your last one before bed, or if you have one more before bed, now you're back to your higher protein and fat to hold you over while you sleep. So carbs can be a wonderful thing. They can make you lose weight. They will, if you cut them out, you can actually you can hinder your weight loss.
Do you have a specific recommendation for those bulking and dieting, both on both opposite ends, when it comes to carbohydrate intake?
You mean like if someone's dieting, compared to if they're trying to gain weight, right? So,
well, for example, you gave a range of macros for protein, right? And that was anywhere from 0.8 all the way up to 2 grams, right? depending on the individual and their status, and that kind of falls in line with my recommendations. So 0.8 being probably the lowest somebody should go if they're active, and then 1.2 is where I pretty much stay year round because we're so tall and we have such a body weight that it's kind of ridiculous if we raise it any higher than some sort.
Right.
I mean, how many are you eating? Are you eating like 400 grams of carbs a day, 600 grams of carbs, protein? Like that would be ridiculous.
Like 300, maybe.
Yeah. That's
300, maybe a little over.
Yeah, I'm doing 320 right now. So
it's about 7 ounces of meat per meal. If I do shakes, it's 50 grams of protein.
So carbohydrates. Do you have any specific recommendations, kind of in the long lines of that?
It's hard because you need to figure out how active is that person. And what have they been eating like? So, like, some of my clients might, hey, get the MyFitnessPal app. Just track your food for 3 days. And they might, they usually eat 3 meals a day, if that, maybe 2. And they're pretty much carbs. So, when I cut their carbs down, but I increase protein and fat, they're like, wow, I feel really good.
Yeah.
But in regards to, like, saying, okay, there has, a gram per pound for carbs, it really depends on your energy expenditure. Are you someone who's active all day? Okay, and then I might start you out, if you're trying to get weight, on 400 carbs. Yeah. But that same person might say, well, I sit at the desk all day, and you want to gain weight. Okay, well, I'm going to start you at 200 because you're not going to be burning as much.
Right.
And then honestly, with the carbs, I mean, there's a percentage you can do off the calories that, once you have your protein, once you have your fat, if you burn if you're eating 4,000 calories, and let's say you add those up, you have 1,000 calories left. You divide that by 4. That tells you how much carbs technically you should have. Is that always accurate? Once again, though, that's just a mathematical way to do it. But the bro way would be to incorporate their lifestyle, what their current diet is like, if they have health conditions. And then you have a set number. And after a week, hey, how'd you feel? What'd you do? Okay, well, now we adjust the carbs a little bit. You can always do the number and percentage for protein and fat. But I feel like for carbs, it really depends on the person, their lifestyle, their age.
I kind of wanted to get your opinion on this too, because I have been preaching my recommendation for fats for a long time, and we didn't cover that. So my recommendation is anywhere from 20% being the absolute minimum for most people, all the way up to 35%, because I know some people, either because of food preference or the way they feel, can benefit from something as high as 35%.
I agree. I'm the same thing.
Okay.
No less than 20. You start getting less than 20, then that's where you get the brain fog, the hormonal issues, especially a male can handle it, but a female, you start dropping the fat down. And women will say, oh, it's because, if they were using, an anti-estrogen or whatever it may be, I lost my period. No. Okay, that might be one small factor. Right. But what's your fat intake? Oh, well, I'm eating 20 grams of fat a day. That's your fucking problem. You drop your fat down in a male, whether you're a natural athlete or not. When you drop that fat down, when you cut calories, okay?
You feel like shit.
You feel like shit. And your sex drive, good luck, dude. The hottest woman in the world can walk by and you're like, fuck, who cares? Because I've experienced it. When you just get to that depleted state, you don't care. And when I first met my fiance, she was like, do you not like me anymore? I'm like, no, I do. I just have no desire whatsoever mentally at all. Because my fats were low. I was 2 weeks out. But for a short time, that's okay, because once you get done.
Yeah, it's pretty average. That's pretty good for a competitor, though. 2 weeks out. Usually guys start losing any interest at like 4 weeks because they start dieting really hard. Yeah, because they're just not lean enough by that point.
I was usually pretty good, but what helps me is I can still have pretty high calories when I'm dieting.
Yeah.
What got me more at one point was just like I was just like the amount of fatigue from doing all the cardio and lifting.
Yeah.
But I would say, a couple weeks out, like I'm still good. Like my sex drive is still okay.
Yeah.
I mean, not nearly what it is now. It's not like I'm not ready to go every day. Now I'm like a dog in heat, right? But
when you're bulking, you're in high school. Yeah.
Right. It's still there, but it's got to be 8:00, not 10, because I'm exhausted and going to bed. Right. But that's something to pay attention to. But as a female, though, you drop that fat's real low. Okay. A male, your testosterone will go down. If your estrogen does, let's actually just make it a little harder. Not a big deal for a male. But a female, your estrogen drops down with your low fat and your testosterone, because females need testosterone, which my fiance is experiencing. She's on cream, the doctor and stuff. And that's from birth control, I'm convinced.
Right.
For 10 plus years.
Absolutely, yeah.
But when your fats drop low, your hormones, you'll see a lot. Like I said, whether you're enhanced or not, you will feel like shit. I don't care if you're using enhanced supplements and to keep your testosterone up. When you lower your fats down and your natural levels, they will just hit the shitter, and you will feel like crap. And when it comes to a female, it is a lot harder for a female's hormones to bounce back than a male's. And that's why females, you want to keep those fats as moderate as you can until maybe right at the end if you're trying to do a show. If you're not trying to do a show, you should never drop below for a female. I would say 25%, 30%.
Yeah.
Because
I agree with you, especially because they have hormone fluctuations all the time.
Yes.
It's kind of the norm.
Yes.
But we'll go back to carbohydrates. And the way that I explain my recommendation for carbohydrate intake to people is, in order to earn your carbohydrates, you have to do activity. Because one of the ways in which you use carbohydrates is not only for blood sugar control, because we know that, the body... Oopsies. Did we lose you on video?
Yeah, there we go. Sorry.
Okay, now you're fine. But the body needs blood sugar, but the brain does too. And whenever you drop in blood sugar, your brain is one of the first things affected, right?
Yep.
So because carbohydrates are used for blood sugar, and they're also used for energy, right? So the actual energy that you expend. Think of an endurance athlete, their carbohydrates needs are way, way up because they need sustained energy for long bouts of exercise, right? Well, it's the same thing if you have an extremely high NEAT, right? Non-exercise energy expenditure. So, with that being said, you have your protein taken care of, you have your fats taken care of. Now all the filler that you have, right, is just dumped into carbohydrates. Also, it helps that carbohydrates are easy to pull from, and that's why they're commonly pulled for diets or prep or whatever, because they're not as important for overall function to a certain extent as fats or protein is when it comes to body composition changes.
And you mentioned too, depending on your energy levels. So like when I'm dieting hard, and you mentioned the blood sugar, I can feel it. Like I will know it's time to eat because my body, because I'm also active, and then I diet and you cut your carbs down. I won't say, obviously I don't go hypo,
right.
But
but you can still feel. You don't have to be like having diabetic symptoms, like hypo and hyperglycemia, to notice blood sugar drops. This could mean a little bit of a mood swing, or just this 5 o'clock wall that 5 Hour Energy has made their fucking name off of, right?
And too, like, if you're depleted, I would literally eat a meal, and it literally worked like a monster. Like, I would eat.
Right.
20 minutes later, I was like, all right, I got energy. I felt good. You know, and you only know that if you know your body. But I remember that, like, I would eat, and like, all right, my energy's back. But when, like you said, when you don't, you're lethargic. That's where the Hangry commercial, where Snickers got their thing from.
Hell yeah.
So it is, if you are someone who is all active, whether it's in lifestyle, if you have an active lifestyle and weight training, you're going to need carbs. Are there times where, yes, you can fluctuate them on days you don't lift? Yes, you can lower your carbs. But there's also studies that show that, okay, if you lift legs, then the next day, don't go low carbs because you need all the calories you can get to recover if you train hard.
Right.
Not many people train hard enough to do that. So if you're not lifting, cut your carbs in half.
Right.
So if you're eating 300, you're not lifting today, only eat 150. And don't have them in the morning right when you wake up or before you go to bed. Have them midday when you need more of that energy.
Well, not only that too, but there's certain things that are carbs are great for, right? Like physical labor jobs and then go to the gym. Or if you have a very stressful day, carbs have this powerful anti-stress effect whenever you eat them. And that's why people get a dopamine hit, and then people say, I'm addicted to sugar and all that other shit, right? You need to earn your carbohydrates. So, if you want more of them, right? Or if you're trying to gain weight, add more of them. That's a good way to... I will say this, though. If you're not active, you should not be having more carbs at all, right? You should be as close to as little carbs as you can have because they're used for energy production, right? They're also pretty easily burned off. That's something people don't realize is they're used for energy production. It's like adding logs to a fire. They're pretty easily burned. But if you don't, light that fire, it's just going to sit there, and you're going to have wood stack up, and that's kind of where those little buggers get people in trouble. Is they're either not active, they're using them for an inappropriate purpose, or what have you. So I truly do believe that if you earn your carbohydrate needs, if you earn your carbohydrate intake, you can have a crap ton of carbohydrates. The problem is if you're 150 pounds and you want to get to the point where you earn 600 grams of carbohydrates, that's a problem. That's a lot of work, right? Whereas, us being bigger individuals, over 200 pounds, we can...
The more muscle mass you have, you're going to burn more energy just moving around, standing there. So that will help. Put on some more muscle. There you go. You need some more and stay lean. It's not that, shit. When I first started competing, I would diet on, down by, I'm at 2,500 calories. Now I can get down to only 3,500 at the last few days. I mean, I've been up to 4,000 to 2 weeks out. And I felt like shit because I was burning them off. I was burning off the calories, like the carbs especially. So you've got to listen to your body. If you want to eat more, train harder. Yeah. Therefore, you train harder, you eat bigger, you put on more size, you can eat more food and stay leaner because you have more muscle, you're going to burn more calories at rest, and there's your answer. Just get bigger. And be more active.
4 calories per gram of carbohydrate. So what are some good carbohydrate sources that people can include for their healthy lifestyle?
Oats are good, oatmeal. Okay.
Right.
Red potatoes I like. They have a lot of potassium as well. Berries. So any kind of berry. Blueberry, raspberry, strawberry. Fruit I would stay away from unless it's a pre-workout, so like an apple or banana. Pre or post-workout, maybe it's okay to do because of the sugar. Rice, obviously. I will do a little bit of pasta in the off-season just because it's good. It's carbs. I can get it down kind of quick, but not when I'm dieting. I won't do that. Sweet potatoes are great. Trying to do heavier carbs. Quinoa is good. You can do quinoa. That's a good, great vitamin-based type carbohydrate. Overall, good nutrition, balanced.
Right.
I'm trying to get. I kind of stick to the same carbs. I'm trying to get other healthy carbs you can add in. Brown rice and white rice, it's a minuscule difference in the glycemic index, so you can do whichever one you want.
Yeah.
Sweet potato, pasta is okay here and there. And then it fluctuates post-workout if you're trying to bulk. I might do a little bit of Pop-Tart or cereal because it's carbs, it's fast. It's
Gatorade's been used forever, too.
Yep.
Especially if you're in a very glycogen-specific sport. So if you're a CrossFit athlete or you are an endurance athlete, you can slam Gatorade and be fine.
Yep, so you got to be active. Yep, you can't just drink Gatorade and sit around.
Correct. Unless you're in high school and nobody cares. Which, by the way, what is with Gatorade coming back all of a sudden and being popular again?
I don't know.
Just all of a sudden.
It never
kind of died a little bit.
Out, but they're definitely, they have Gatorade Zero now. They're definitely
Glacier Cherry. Just saying.
Pretty good. I'm a Powerade Zero kind of guy. It's cheaper.
Yeah,
but it's all the same.
So
but yeah, they're making it because they got the Gatorade protein bars now, the Gatorade chews. They just advertise it on sport teams so that people buy them,
now I want to kind of flip the script, and we'll close this out. Okay? There's two more things I want to discuss. One of which is the fun one, and then the other one is the dicey one. First one, what are some bad protein sources that you would never suggest people eat? We've already been over one that I don't suggest, which is soy as a main source of protein. Right?
I would say sausage is not good. Some of your legumes can be, they might have, it depends if you're not trying to have carbs. Pork, not the best, very high in fat, so it'd be kind of hard to eat that and if you're bulking, it's okay, but pork has like some issues with cholesterol and stuff like that. It's fattier, lower quality meat.
Be careful. Be careful with these breakfast bars labeled as protein bars as well.
Yes,
because they're candy.
They're carb bars, is what they are.
Yeah.
Lenny and Larry cookies. They're fucking carb bars.
They're cookies.
They're carb cookies.
They're just
They're
cookies.
80 grams of carbs and 16 grams of protein. No, it's a carb cookie. Ratio here. Protein bars. Quest does a good job because they have like the high fiber. They do have like the 1 bars now. They have no sucralose. Some of those natural ones are good. They have a decent fiber content, good protein. But besides that, protein's pretty cut and dry. There's not a whole lot of options to get bad protein. Carbs.
What are some bad fats? We'll go into the carbs here in a second, but what are some bad fats?
Shit. Peanuts aren't the best. We mentioned like coconut oil, not good.
Crisco
butter.
Straight out of the tub.
What's that? Yeah, butter, Crisco, mayonnaise. Peanuts aren't really the best choice. Cashews, I mentioned before, aren't the best choice.
I'm not a fan of vegetable oil either.
No, vegetable, I'm not a fan either. That's your trans fat, so stuff like breakfast sausage and things like that. So like do a turkey sausage instead. Try the other. It's like any like fats that are in potato chips. Those are terrible for you.
There's a difference though when it comes to trans fats, and I want to cover that real quick. So the naturally occurring trans fats are not bad. The naturally occurring, like in the thick cuts of steak, those are not bad. That is a misconception. That is different than the synthetically made trans fats. So trans fats from steak, good. Trans fats from, I don't know. They've kind of done a good job of removing a lot of trans fats.
That's what I was trying to think. I feel like they've done, obviously like fried foods have a bunch of unhealthy fats in them, but
Lucky Charms used to have trans fat in them.
What's that?
You remember when Lucky Charms had trans fat in them? They were awesome.
But I will say, like, even cereals lower in fat. They've really done a better job in the last 5 years or so of really kind of focusing more on healthier fats and diminishing the amount of fat. So it's kind of hard now to say.
Yeah.
Any fat you get from processed food is not good. So from ice cream, pizza, all the greasy fat from the dairy. That stuff, if you're getting fat from a processed source, just know it's not good.
Yeah. What about carbohydrates?
Carbs.
Table sugar, maybe.
Carbs are wonderful, but once again, if it's a carbohydrate that you can go on the shelf and buy it, it's not a good choice. You've got to be able to prepare it. So like the pasta, the rice, the potatoes, the sweet potatoes.
Be careful with things labeled as low fat that masquerade as extremely high sugar.
And they'll be very high sugar and high carb with low fat, so they're okay. But in our reality, it's actually just get the normal one. Normal ones are healthier.
And this is the last thing we'll go over, and then we'll both get the freak out of here because we spent a lot of time. What is your opinion on the organic grass-fed whole ordeal? Because I've talked to people in the industry, and I'm wanting to know your thoughts on it.
Well, it's funny. I listened to a podcast just yesterday about it. This morning. Sorry. It's called Swole Trilogy on the Bicycle Radio, and they talk about the grass-fed and regular. And really the only difference is the price. I mean, if you get a 93.7 ground beef compared to a grass-fed, I mean, people are going to argue with, well, you know, the cow was fed by grass, whatever. People are going to argue with it because it's a marketing thing. But in the day, I mean, it's not that big of a deal. You're paying a lot more for a minuscule difference. So I think it's just, once again, it's a marketing thing. I think the grass-fed, it's better for digestion a little bit. It does have benefits, but they're all smaller. So when you outweigh the price and the benefit, just get 93.7. I mean, you'll be fine. But the grass-fed, I think it's just, once again, it's only been around for, 5 years or so, and I don't see it, I'm not really hearing about it as much as I used to when it first came out. Because I think people realize it's not that big of a difference. You're just paying more.
So I will say this on the whole organic, hormone-free sort of whatever movement. I've talked to people in the manufacturing business of this stuff. Organic certification is a joke. It is good for some farms, some places, but most likely you're getting the same shit.
Yep.
Hormone-free, I'll speak a little bit on that because I think that there's this misconception that a cow, for example, is injected with anabolic androgenic steroids to yield a higher percentage of lean meat. And then you get that meat and all of a sudden you're dosed. And you fail test and your name is John Jones. So it doesn't work that way. The hormones are dead. They are not alive by the time that they get to your dinner plate.
Yep.
They can't possibly be. It just doesn't work that way. Plus, even if they were, most hormones that are used for growth purposes on livestock are not actually orally bioavailable. So when you ingest them, even if you chugged a bottle of the stuff, if you do get any, it's going to be destroyed by some natural mechanisms in your body. So if you're worried about hormones in your food, you need to be worried about, I think, budget more than anything else, because that's what it all comes down to. If you're budget oriented like I am, right, and Ryan is, right, do not waste your time, your money, or hours and hours of thinking about your purchasing decision that I know I've done on probably more things than I should really do. Like, for example, freaking TV. I spent, a month, 2, researching the TV, and it was like, screw it, I'll just buy the one on sale. That's what ended up happening.
Yep.
Don't chase the 10% and bypass the 90%. And I think that's where we'll sign out. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for listening to this on SoundCloud or iTunes. If you're not following us or if you're not supporting us on those platforms, if you're not supporting us on YouTube, I highly suggest you do so now. Interact with us in any way you can. I will probably be the one because Wayne, the owner of the company, he kind of, just lets me do this thing, and he promises not to hit me. So that's kind of how I get paid. So please, whenever this gets positive interaction, I get less beatings per month. So please interact with us, do all this stuff. Let us know what you think in the comment section below. Also, I would be interested to know what your diets look like. So please let us know that in the comment section below. This is your host, Bryce Allen, because I felt the need to say that twice. I am joined by Ryan Skellie, and this is the episode. I hope you enjoy it. We out! That was way too over-enthusiastic.
Conan, what is best in life? Crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and hear the lamentation of your women. That is good. That is good.
Too many thoughts on my mind, I can't sleep at night, so I just keep writing. I don't need no help, I don't need opinions, so don't waste my time then. I just been living online, my city don't show me no love and that's fine. Fuck local radio stations, I got more plays than all of these rappers combined. I'm going again, I've been going in, I'm fed up with so many things. I gotta just let it all out, I'm talking about the shit they've been talking about. Telling me I should do this, telling me I should do that. Telling me things about rap. Talking the truth and then stabbing my back, they will knock me off track. No, too many things have been building, been hard to deal with, I just been drinking. Remember my moves in the past, I'm wondering what was I thinking. Lately I'm living in fear, wondering what if the end is so near. All of this shit going on, the shootings are strong. One shot to the head and I'm gone. I'm losing control but I can't let it go, cause I'm trying to get more. And I've been in the moment, I've been in the zone, and I'm moving alone. I don't pick up the phone when my family call, I've been doing it wrong and I don't know what's happening. Trying to get what I just been imagining, getting close and I just been examining all of the fake shit the game has been packaging.
Power pleases you, Crom. So grant me one request. Grant me revenge. And if you do not listen, then the hell with you.
I come from a town where most of the people are so close-minded. They go into school and they work in a job but they don't even like it. I won't be put in a box, nobody telling me what I should rock. Nobody telling me what I should drop, cause I do what I want and just know I don't stop. Recording till 4 in the morning, they snoring, I'm pouring my soul into every story. I'm writing, producing, I mix it, I master, I'm building my craft and I'm not looking back. I've been going doing things I wanna do when I want to. Everybody wanna get a win but they not do. Everybody wanna copy you but they not you. Everybody wanna be cool but they not new. Whoa, look how I go, gonna be a dentist, I still got the flow. Never gonna lose cause I'm still doing both. Never gonna lose cause I've been on the road. Come to your state and I'm killing the show. Know that I'm young and I still gotta grow. Know that I'm working the most, know I'm never gonna choke. And I'm looking back down on the people below.
I've been keeping real, I've been doing what I feel. I've been out here trying to kill every beat I know I will.